we got a virtual podcast or a video with Adam from GeoSpan, and this is Jay Rez from the Seattle Roofing Company, and I'm Rory Knight, the Seattle Roofing Company. We were, I mean, we were super excited to get this one, or to be able to. We connected a couple of times and super impressed. In fact, I think that might be the best way to start off. Is like, I remember we were in a shuffle, and it was that Western States? I remember
It
the
was.
Hammer was at the booth. That was RoofCon. Oh yeah, that definitely was RoofCon. We didn't, yeah, we were pretty busy at Western States. We with Dimitri and stuff, but yeah, it was RoofCon, and then we were literally in the middle of a client that was there was a structure we couldn't get out to the property in time. They were trying to get a bid, and they're kind of a difficult client, it seemed like. And there was a section of the house we couldn't see with any other program.
Hmm.
And Jay was telling me about seeing you guys. He's like, we got to check them out. And that's when we met you. We met you personally, Adam. And then
Yeah.
you're like, hey, let's give it a shot. Right then and there, it was like not just a demo, but it was a real life job that we were working on, and pulled the property. And I thought there was no way because nobody could get this thing. Not Roof R, Eagle View, not Quick Square. Nobody could get an image of this property. Google Earth, I couldn't get it. And then
Yeah.
and we found like a 10 square area attached to the house in the back. It wasn't there. And we had given them contingency numbers, and that the client, because they were pushing for it, and they were happy. They jumped all over our bid. Now they were communicating. They were pulled out of the witness protection program. They were able to talk to civilians again. And then we found that other section. So we got a hold of them, and you're like, oh, it's this. We found this, and then they, of course, the FBI swooped back in, pulled them back in the witness protection program, not allowed to communicate anymore. It was still an ongoing joke we always have when somebody goes to. But and then that's actually one of Jay's clients. So I'm kind of paraphrasing, but
Yeah,
that how it went down.
exactly how it went down. It was one of my first early entries into big mistake with shorting somebody 10 squares on a on a job. Yeah, and it's because we couldn't find any of the imagery. Nobody could pull the property, and so I'm like, this is what it is. I'm by no means was ready to hand measure. It was just the property was difficult to get to. There's no service, so we end up going back, and yeah, like Rory said, we're like, this can't be done. So when we did meet you, I was like, I forgot who it was that I saw. I was listening to the conversation saying, "Oh, we can pull any property." I'm like, "Oh, really?
Yep.
I got one for you."
You
And
went and stumped GeoSpan right off the bat.
yeah, and you're like, "Yeah, give me the property right now. I'll do it." And just live right there, you plugged it in. Bam! I'm like, "There's no way." You're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
give me your email. I'll send it to you, and I'll even send you a couple so you can do it yourself and try." And yeah, I was just like, "Wow!" When we got back to the office, I'm like, "Check it out, bro. He actually pulled it," and it was like, man, like that was no one else could, and the confidence you had in what you were offering, I was all about it.
And
Yeah. We're
what, what I was thinking
Go ahead.
about? Well, we what was crazy is like so many people like we walked through. We were talking about that. We walked through the expos, and people say we might be aggressive because we're like, hey, boom, here's what we need, here's what it is, and they say, well, why? People will say we're better than these, or we do produce this result. I'm like, okay, go, show me. And you guys were like, had no problem. That didn't seem aggressive to you. It was like we're doing our job. That's the battle, like the type of movement that we have. It's the business we have. Like we got to be Johnny on the spot for a lot of our clients. And so my vendors, people we work with, I expect I need the same type of urgency. And like when I go to another booth, they're like, "Oh, we're better than this CRM. We're better than them. We're the best." Okay, show me how. So, like, because we have this. Well, everybody has that, or they have that. Theirs is actually better. I mean, and they're like, well, no, we have this. And I'm like, well, no, that's actually, I say you should go talk to them over there, that booth, and you might get some ideas. It sucks, you know. And, but I mean, so I guess, the money where the mouth is effect, in real time. And, and if you're in the business and like you have to produce results, um, to succeed and survive, like that's what it requires. Is good partnerships like GeoSpan, like real deal, producing product and value.
Well, it's a competitive space, and also in the construction market, you have to back up your mouth, or you're going to get shut down, put out of business, or just get a bad reputation. And one good review gets you more business, but one bad review, you can lose 30, 50 opportunities from one bad comment. And that's one of the things that I actually think is kind of fun, because our coverage is so good that we literally internally call it Stump Geospan. Because usually when people, especially people that are comfortable with their current providers, what's different about you that would make me want to change? And that's the easiest one, I think, for me to share with other people. I mean, and everybody from our team is, here's our coverage map. What do you got? And a lot of people, especially in the beginning, I mean, and I did it when I came and when I learned about it with the company. I would look for hard stuff, something super obscure. Be like, all right, let's see. And then I did stuff that was local. And then I climbed up on a roof and I pulled the tape and I was like, I can tell this to people. Yep, here. And I've done it in a bunch of like live demos with customers. I'll just tell them to give me an address, which is the exact scenario that we went through with you guys at RoofCon. Was you gave me an address. I'm pretty sure we ran a G square on it, which is the 2032nd one. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is close in the ballpark, but that one's not our 99%. And then we sent you guys that 99% one. And I mean, I'm glad we found it. I'm glad we have it. And it's, like I said, I think it's fun because it is a differentiator between us and everybody else in the market.
Yeah, no. And we were just talking about this the other day, how just based on that, we went back, we were using just our regular, the folks we've been using to pull all our measurements. And then one day we're like, man, like we have a couple of these other ones. Let's give them a shot. Let's pull it up, see what's going on. And then that's when we found out, we requested some information and then jumped on the phone and they're like, well, lucky for you, we got this new one that's a more uh, affordable model, gives us the information we need without all the extra stuff. And so we're like, well, let's give it a shot again. We still have a couple free ones that they sent us, so let's put these into work, because it was actually saved us. It was like 2 jobs that we couldn't pull measurements from, and it was like we still got these other ones, so we pulled them again. I'm like, look, they're 3 for 3. Like all 3 addresses that we couldn't find somewhere else, they absolutely pulled all 3, and it was just like that was a difference, right? Like we talk about what sets you apart. Like you said, it's stump us. What do you got that you think we can't do, and we're going to show you we can.
And that package is available, right? We can talk about that.
Oh yeah, it's our G Pro Express. We actually officially launched that at IRE this year in 25, and that one came in at the lesser dollar point. It's like $24.
Yeah,
and it's 3 to 4 hour, 2, 3, 4 hour turnaround. It's really quick. Gives you a consistent 95% accurate or better. You get oblique imagery, so you get a top down, north, south, east, west. And the other thing about our coverage, and it's one of the things that strengthens our coverage, is we don't have this really old, slowly updated library of imagery. We get the entire country, border to border, coast to coast, every year at a minimum. And the more densely populated areas, which is what the majority of other people do, is a lot of the imagery capture companies, what they do is it's population density based because it's expensive to fly. So there's more money in places that have more people. That's what gives us that expanded view. So we get the whole country instead of just the densely populated areas. And we have multiple different image providers that we work with. So we have access to more imagery than anybody else in the market. So not only are you going to get pictures of the property, but they're going to be current. In February, late January, early February, I was seeing imagery from 2025. Our imagery is extremely current. And, if you ordered something in 2024 and you get something with pictures from 2014, it could be right. But it's also like, I wonder what's changed, So we not only have historical, but we have really current stuff. So if there's less imagery from something in 2024, we know that in 2025 there's going to be better pictures coming. So the coverage and access is huge, especially for current stuff. And it's really cool when somebody's like, dude, I got a new car that the first time I parked that car in the driveway was 6 weeks ago, and we have a picture of it. It also shows too that we have current stuff. So that helps a lot too.
Yeah, big time. I mean, uh, like I know there's integration with our CRM in the works. I would like to see us switch over because with all of our bulk ordering, it's probably I think the only reason we're using the one we're using now, which is one we don't even like using, 'cause we're using another one, and then but like Jay, I guess the Jay question, like how can we push all of our measures through our reports?
Earlier,
Yeah,
me and Adam were talking. I was like, that's why I was not there. I was trying to run off to go catch them before they installed at the wrong house, and then
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I my stuff blows up when I'm on a video, but I don't answer. But I saw that one, and but so can we? I
yeah.
very
So before you answered the phone, I was gonna tell you, like, I've already set it up in our system to have. I got the card on there, everything ready to go. We've done a few whenever they're not ready to go. Some of the measurements are done, but I think one of our biggest thing we were trying to do was set it up because we're trying to keep all our vendors, everybody that works through our CRM, so everything's just automated, easy, quick. So when we were at IRE, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna." Good news is we're working with your CRM in order to, start working with you guys. I'm like, well, once that happens, it's already proven that that's what we want to do. So the answer, yes, we we can make that happen ASAP.
even if we use
Well,
a
that's
VA to pull the report and then load it,
Yeah,
I'd like to stay loyal to the soil. If,
yeah,
if we push it all through GeoSpan,
yeah.
if we can find a way to do that, I'd be happy. Well, I think what's most important too is the overarching, like two things I want to bring up. One will lead to the other, but like the fact, because like we understand everything, Symbility and Exactimate and ESV files, everything you said, but like even maybe a new contractor, because like Dimitri, which we'll get into that in a second, but like working with someone that brand new, what's so important is working with somebody that is that forward, progressive thinking, who's on, always improving, never letting good be an enemy to your best. I remember Jim Collins in that book, Good to Great. He said, "There's so many good companies that'll never be great. They don't need to be great. They're just good. But you guys are an exceptional company, but becoming better every day, which is an outlier, and that's like above everything else. And then also to the rate of growth and integration and iteration. So like when you think about the S curve economics of a TV, it took 10 years before 10% of the population knew about it. And all of a sudden it finally spiked up. But technology now, you can have an app come out 2-3 years is purchase, acquisition, boom, 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 boom. The rate in which we have to integrate, accept, and adopt change, we have to be very like flexible. I feel like to be progressive, or we're gonna get crushed. And Geospan, I mean, you guys are, for what it seems like, and that's why we use Leap as a CRM, because they want to grow. They might not, they're not perfect or great or like, but we feel like it, or maybe they are and we need to learn, right? But it's like you guys are like taking the bull by the horns, and then people, I don't, not enough people know how good the product really is. I believe it's overcoming obscurity right now, because right now you guys don't. To be honest, you dominate with the pack with what you have now, but what's coming out is super exciting.
I honestly think we've just scratched the surface. It's just the team of people that's put together that we have right now, and the growth that we've had, and the ideas and the thought processes and how things are rolling out. I like. I think we're just getting going. We're at the very beginning, because there's a lot of things on our map and in our plan, and we love shiny objects, and ooh, what about this and what about that, and then it's, wait, but if we could tie this to that, and then this to that, then there's a whole nother, new. So there's a lot of things that have talked about and been talked about, and but we know that there's going to be more too. So as we build out our platform or our service, it's with an open door to be able to adapt and modify and push things here or there, because like I said, we want to work with everybody. I mean, and we started our roots, we're doing stuff for the government, so there's really nobody that we don't want to work with. There's nobody that we don't want to be able to provide data for anywhere. It's if it's in a picture with the right data, or it's the right kind of picture, we can measure and just how we leverage that and what our baseline is. I mean, yeah, if there's something that somebody wants out of a picture, we might not be able to do it today as a product, but I don't have any fear of not being able to do it. It's just when can we do it? Because there's some good brains and and people have been ahead of the curve. I mean, the founder of our company invented, patented, and he invented and patented what everybody now knows as Google Street View in like the early 90s, and that was in the works for a while before that. But his whole part in the GIS world started when he went into the Marine Corps at 18 years old, and he was up in a plane working with GIS and mapping stuff, and then transitioned into the government sector for property evaluations and stuff like that. And he put a couple of dots together and went, I wonder. And and that's where that came from, is people had a couple of asks and he had a couple of ideas and smushed them together and went, "Ooh, I think this will work. Let me try it." And like I said, I mean, that patent was in the 90s, and being able to measure things, he's known how to do that, and there's been technology around for. I mean, June will be, I believe, our 35th year in business. So we're just new to the roofing space, or the construction and retail space, but being able to adapt. And I think we all have to, especially anybody that's tied to the construction industry, just because of where people are with jobs and where technology is. And I don't think there's enough people that want to have physical labor jobs anymore. And there's also technology that if you don't stay with it or at the front of it, you're going to get passed, so you got to, get on or get out of the way kind of a deal. And I don't see our train changing course. I don't think we're ever going to step off to the side and let somebody else run. We want to be in front, and you get that way by working with other people.
Yeah, and we were really quick. We were talking about this the other day, and so I was telling you all when we were talking about it offline, we're by no means technologically sound in anything that we do. We're just two guys that have an idea, have some vision, and we're like, who can help us put that vision into action? So we like to talk to everybody, and from like even when we go to these conferences, we're like, all right, here's the game plan. We're looking for somebody that can help us with A, B, and C. You handle A, I'll handle B, and then we'll touch notes, and then we'll be like, tomorrow we're going to talk to these guys because I think they got, and that's how we kind of came about. Most of the stuff we do is because we want to work with people that are like constantly evolving, trying to get better, helping us get better, being available, because sometimes you can have the greatest thing, but if you don't know how to use it or have no one to help you get by and show you how to do it, or even take advantage of the full scope of what you're offering, it doesn't help anybody. You can have the greatest product and not know how to use it, doesn't do you any good. And
Yep.
so we want to work with people like that will sit down and be like, all right, this is what we do. You're going to waste your time with this, but if you focus on this, it's going to help you do this. And it's just like, we just want to work with companies that are doing that, constantly thinking about how to get better. Cause that's what we do every day. We have powerhouse meetings where we're like, hey, this came up, this came up, this came up. How do we deal with it? And then it's like, and who can help us get it done? And that's kind of where, when we talk to you guys, I'm like, man, every time I talk to you guys, there's something new's coming up, working with a whole new person. Like we like that, because if you stay stagnant, stale, you're never gonna grow. You're never gonna get better. And so we appreciate that part of what you guys do, is every time there's like, hey, got some good news. Look, we did this. This is working. I'm like, well, we didn't want to pull 80, $130 measurements from anybody. I don't care how good you are. It's not our need. We don't need to do that. And then so the fact that you guys are like, well, glad you said that, because here's what we got to offer. And then now it was like exactly what we needed at the price point we needed it to be, and we're we're getting the best. And so that's where we became fans, and it's just grown since then. Our respect for what you guys do has been, you know, it's there, and that's why we want to work with you guys.
It's
That
like
no, and you're the exact
you
kind of
guys have
customer
like
we want to
God
work.
mode, like a game genie. It's what I feel like the way you guys have it set up. It's like everybody's on the what was that? Oh, it was a Nintendo, but you guys are like the game genie. Like that's how good that service is.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love hearing
What
that.
were we gonna say, Adam?
Oh no, it's just that I really enjoy, and I mean, and I think everybody on our team does, working with people that have, you know, a little bit more of an open mind, or they're not afraid to say, hey, you know what, I don't like this. Can you do this, or could you make it be that way? Or I mean, you're missing, you know, like nobody does this. Can you do it? You know, because it helps everybody get better. You know, your ideas can help us help you, or help other people, or you know, the whole thing about just working together to do
Yeah,
better. Because at the end of the day, I mean, like, I know there's people that enjoy working, and I enjoy my job, and you guys clearly enjoy yours, but like we all need to make money, right? So if we can do better to make money together and for each other to help, you know, everybody do better, I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? And so that's, I mean, that's really a big thing here with, you know, we, like I said, we want to partner or, you know, work with as many people as we can because it benefits. And you guys could have an ask that could come from us doing this podcast or, you know, offline talks or whatever that could end up helping the whole industry. I don't,
yeah,
you know, I don't know until we talk about it. You know, we don't know what it's going to be, but working together and collaborating is really, you know, that's how you do good things, you know, and big things. So,
An abundance
absolutely.
mindset,
yep, yep.
which is
And none of us can ever learn enough.
so true. Which which I think I almost wish we had started or this conversation had started with this aspect because I feel like it's the most important in a way, but maybe it's good that it was capped. But it's such an organic conversation is the trust. Like seeing you guys, I remember that podcast came out with Dimitri, you personally with and Dimitri,
Yep,
and then seeing you with at IRE this year's IRE, and he says, "This is why I'm sitting at this booth." When we recorded our video, we had talked about that job we couldn't get any other data on except you guys were the only ones that could deliver that. And he goes, "Wow," he goes, "That's why I'm at this booth and no other booth." You know, and with Dimitri, like everybody, if he says, this person's a good person, we were actually talking about that quite a bit about how he will not back somebody unless he's 100%
yep,
behind them. And like he gave, like we got connected with Salty Media, and I've owned lead generation companies with a partner, and then digital marketing companies are just like is 99.9% are just you know, but we have amazing lead, we have amazing ads, we get a lot of conversion. Our KPIs are amazing. But Dimitri was like, call these guys, and it was trust. It was trust, and that's so important. Like when something's built on, and so seeing Dimitri how super serious is about with you guys too. It's like it's a warm blanket feeling of trust.
and
yeah,
even for us, it's a thing where, say, kind of going down that direction, like when you see somebody that's doing something and you're like, man, I really like what they're offering or whatever, and you're like, man, we need to figure out a way. And then you see somebody that we truly respect and follow their lead with Dimitri is like, then he's like, and we're like, bro, he's at their booth, like, and I'm like, so the thought we had of who we wanted to work with, that direction is happening, and him doing that and being there, it was just a confirmation of everything we were already thinking. Now the person that we respect and trust is like, this is it. We're like, well, there we were on the right track from the beginning, and
And
so
something you
that's
may
a
not know it, Adam. You were talking about how he won't back somebody. This is 100% uh, believe in them. He literally, so a warranty that we offer, we have two warranties that are above our insurance manufacturer warranty that we're certified to give. Off the bat, like our second page of our proposal, it's a directory $20,000 certificate, which he pays. Like he literally he puts his money where our mouth is. Like that's how well he backs us. And he can show you on instances where it was a failure of maybe the manufacturer should have picked it up, but he paid it. He deals with the other issue. And then we have a $250,000 one, which is a bit has an expense to it, but he literally backs us up. And I think about that, like the consciousness of when I'm doing jobs and running my company, like my mentor's money is on the line. That he put up his money behind me, and like we cool, but we ain't that cool. Like where like he's not my brother, like he's not my uncle. He doesn't owe me anything, and it's just respect. It's just respectable. He does what other people I think claim to do, and it's essentially directory. It's a it generates leads, and but it's not really a lead generation company. But you could get a lead from there, and if he says this contractor is good, he's putting their money up front. That's pretty incredible. Everybody's trying to get out of liability, and he's putting himself on the forefront. Like, no, we're backing these guys.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and I hadn't heard exactly that he was doing that, but after I did that podcast with him at a studio, he and I were outside talking, and we were talking about some of the products that he was investigating and some things that he had, and he said that it's a really short list of people that he will actually stand behind. And talking to him and hearing about how, yeah, like he'll do a podcast or some videos and some homework on somebody and talk about it. That's the informational part, but him saying he's standing behind someone, and you mentioning that now, like it means it makes that even more powerful, the discussion I had with him before, because I didn't know that he did that, and would, literally put his money where his mouth is, where your mouth is, but about the exclusiveness. And, and like Dimitri a lot, he's very good at understanding, knowing, doing his homework. And I think giving a really balanced like he doesn't talk about just random things with random answers. Like you can tell that he's done his homework and he knows what he's saying. And it's really cool to see how much he stands behind stuff, or behind people. I think that really says a lot about your guys' company, because I've never heard of him doing that before with anybody. Not that I know that well, but it's really cool, and it does help put a lot more meat behind things that he says. Especially with supporting somebody or referring them or whatever. That's I think that's a pretty big thing, and a lot of people listen to him. And so I was actually super happy to know that that he was interested in doing an interview with me, and then the other homework that I know that he's done in the past that we've come up in with other measurement information and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. Dimitri's got a pretty good foundation underneath him, and it's fun to do stuff with him. It was really great to have him at our booth. It was pretty fun because I did see a bunch of different people go through. There was a lot of activity at our booth, which for us it was weird that somebody else was in our space. But the traction and the just the things that he had going on there, it was really cool to see, and all the interest. So yeah, and again, it kind of goes to working with other people. It's a great connection to have, and it's boosted our connection.
If there's anybody you want to have at your booth, that'd be the guy. It's like if I can't do it,
yeah,
that's who I'd rather have there. But yeah, it's really cool. Like we me and Roy were always talking, and I think I spend more time talking to Roy than my mom, my girlfriend, everything. We live this like every single day. Before I go to sleep, I'm like, what am I gonna do tomorrow to make this better? Who can we talk to? How do we network with somebody that provides the service we need? And it just goes in everything. And something you said earlier when we were talking to him, you're like, we just want to get this in the hands of everybody. It's like not everybody does that. People try to like, hoard all the information. They just want it for themselves. And it's like I'm short-lived in this industry. Like I'm new to this. I come from a different background, but I'm coming in here and I'm like, there's enough for everybody to have an abundance. And people just this like almost like, well, if I can't get it, I don't want nobody else to have it. It's like
Yeah.
that's the wrong mindset, man. You're talking about being able to provide somebody else's family with an opportunity, but you're so all about yourself that you're not willing to give the information to somebody else that can make a change, or or a difference in their life. Like even Roy, when I first met him, was like, you're just one relationship away, meeting one person that can change your entire life. And when you talk about you just want to work with everybody, how many people's lives can change just being able to do
Mm.
their job easier, or being able to have an opportunity to do things they didn't even know was possible. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just it's mind blowing to me. And so that's the one thing. If we're talking going back talking about Dimitri, when I first met him through Rory, I just always got the feel for him. Like he had no problem, like you said, stepping out and being the forefront, and I got your back, whatever you do. And he stands behind it, and he will give you all the information you need. And if you look at a lot of his videos at these conferences, people will ask him like, who is this? And he'll like he could be like, oh, you got to do your homework, you got to figure it out on your own. He's like, no, let me point you in the direction. That's where I would go. Now it's up to you to decide if it's for you or not, but at least give you the push to the right direction, give you an answer.
Yep.
You know, and people just don't do that in most industries. And the fact that he does, and I mean, look at this. We're having a conversation right now, and we're gonna change how we do things based on a recommendation he made, or we saw who he was talking to. We're like, we want in. And
Yep.
so yeah, the meeting him for us for sure. Roy could talk about it more because he met him first, and he's all in with anything Dimitri says, because he's proven that what he's done, it works, it's successful, and we want in on that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I've been on the other side of that. It's my football, and if you don't touch my football the way I want, I'm going home. You
Yeah,
know, I
take
might
my
move
ball
out
and
of
go
state kind of
home.
deal. Dude, like that's not my kind of business. You know, I mean, like literally had to start my life over because of people like that, and it's not, you know, it's not cool, and it's not the right thing to do. And I know people do it, you know, but it's nothing I want to be a part of. You know, like we're
Same.
we're better together. You know, it's like, I mean, think about being in the gym. You know, can you lift more weight with in a dumbbell in each hand, or more on a bar together? You know, I mean, and I think it's really that simple. You know.
We can only keep what we have by giving it away. Everything is worthless when you hoard it. Money's only valuable when you spend it, but like you'll lose it. There's a book I read that says if you try to save your life, you'll lose your life. But if you give your life for my sake, you'll gain life. So the way the infinite mind set up this round thing that spins around that we're all on, like by me giving it away in faith or in just reciprocity, we will it's worth more both to me and to you. It even says it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. I mean, sometimes it feels so good to give. Like when you think about someone that has nothing, they're starving to death, and you give them $20. Like we don't even know that. We went shopping yesterday with my daughters, and then one of the bags, like I gave some cash because one of my daughters went off one way, and I was with my other daughters, and then like there was like a couple $20 bills like they just threw it in the bag. Like we don't even like a $20 is almost worth nothing, especially now with inflation. But if you give that to somebody who's starving to death, is going to get a jumbo jack or whatever, it's worth a lot to them, and that it's worth even more to you, especially worth more than $20. But people will hoard that through what's called a disruptive emotion, and then they will lose their business, like you said, like they were negatively affected, lost their company, lost it's all these things could happen when you try to hoard that thing. You know, it's about flow. Like a pond is just stagnant, but a river is one of my favorite body of water. It's moving and it's fresh. You can drink it. You know, um,
Yep.
yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But man, so I think you guys are going. I'm going to make a prediction. You guys are to me already at the top of the food chain. But I mean, to see where you guys will go from here will be, I think, is super exciting.
It, there's, like I said, we've had a lot of discussions with a lot of different people or groups, and like I said, I do feel like we're kind of just at the beginning. There's some excited discussions going on, and I'm really excited to see what happens, you know, through the rest of 25, and this time next year, um, you know, could be a whole different ballgame, you know, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for the opportunities and potential that we have coming up, and a lot of the growth and things that we're doing are driven by the people we're working with. You know, it's not because this is the idea that we had. Like, sure, we had a baseline thing, but different people want different stuff. And we don't necessarily always know that until they bring it up and say it. So that's why we encourage our customers, give us feedback. We want to know what it, so yeah, I think that's already helped us. Like I've seen it internally and just with, what customers are giving us feedback on. What customers have said has driven the company so far quite a bit. And I think it's going to be a lot more. So yeah, I'm super excited.
I love it. Yeah, yeah. If people haven't used GeoSpan, I would definitely get with them, give them a shot. Um, you get stuck in situations or relationships, you're just used to it. I would suggest people check them out and get in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, there's a free coupon code on our website. Anytime you can go on there, we give out free trials. We're always apt to do demos for people, and give a live version, demonstration versus just trying to figure it out on your own. And don't get me wrong, our website's super easy. If you've ordered a measurement from anybody else, you can figure it out from us. Um, all the
What's
same
the
standards
easiest
apply, but
What's the easiest way to connect with you guys? Is it just Googling or Instagram, Facebook?
you can go to geospan.com. You can connect on Facebook, LinkedIn. You could probably even YouTube message us. I'd have to check in that one a little farther. But Instagram, the whole works. But honestly, geospan.com, or you can call 1-800-GeoSpan, which I
Super
think is
easy.
funny because we've had that for a long time, because 800, like true 800 numbers, are super hard to come by, but we've had that for like 35 years.
And I'm gonna
So,
tell you right now, if none of those work, send a letter. It's gonna be
oh
worth
yeah,
it. Trust me.
Yeah.
yeah,
Send it up.
Smoke
yep,
signals,
Beep, beep,
whatever
beep,
it
beep,
takes.
beep.
Yeah.
yep, yep, yeah,
Fax.
Yeah.
But there'll
Doesn't
be a link
matter. Just
below. You just
make
click
it
the link
happen. Yeah.
below.
And actually, I'll get this because I'm sure this can get modified and removed from the message right now. But I'll get a coupon code for you guys that
Cool.
you
Okay.
can post in here. We can do the geospan.com, 800 geospan, whatever you want. I'll get you guys some stuff.
Sweet.
Kind of like Tupac, right? I'm not hard to find. Right? I'm an '80s baby, so we grew up not hard to
Yeah,
find.
yeah, we're not hard to find,
Yep.
especially if you're looking.
Oh yeah.
But 2 years ago,
Well,
weren't that many people looking. There's more people looking now, and we want more people looking. So
Yeah, and that's the part we've talked about it, like, because we're really big on AI and automation, and the reason is because it's available. Like, why would you not, right? So
yep,
it's a thing, and it's not going anywhere, and people are so afraid of it, and oh, my job's going to be gone, whatever. No, your job's going to be gone because you're not using the tools and the technologies available to you.
yeah,
And so for us, when we came across you guys, I'm like, this is what we're talking about. Like, we want to be able to use the best technologies to give our customers the best quotes, the best pricing, accuracy. And I mean, so far we've my job, the VP here, is to find people to do work with, the systems we're using, how can we make them better, what can we do to make them better, and then bring it to the team and we all talk about it and we're like, well, oh, that's cool, but what if we could do this? What if we can make it do this? And we're like, oh, we got someone. So one of our operations manager, he's based out of Colombia, but super sharp guy. Like, he's hardworking. We could ask him for anything and he'll be like, I'll figure it out. And so whatever we can think of, he can try to make it happen. And if it can't, and he says it can't be done, we take his word for it, because he's proven to us that any system that we've given him, anything we need, he's helped um, you know, categorize stuff for us, tell us what can be done, what can't be done. Because like I said earlier, I have zero technology experience, but I'm aware of enough. My son's 21. He's, computer science. He's way smarter than I could ever imagine being. And just knowing that there's people out there that can do these things, and we want in. So we're automating our systems and we're putting things together, because like you said earlier, I'm not jumping on a roof. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not talking about not wanting to do the hard work. I've never done that. My hands have no calluses, no nothing. I'm here just to try to try to help everybody make more money, and that's how you do it. So the fact
yep.
that you guys are on the front, on the front lines of that and making it happen, we're all in. And I'm excited. I don't know what other stuff you guys got coming down the line, but as soon as you guys complete the integration with our system, anybody else can kick rocks. Like, we're just not doing business with you. We this is where we want to put all our efforts, and good partners. And I mean, like we talked about with Dimitri, great partner, never
Yeah.
led us the wrong way. We found you. We're just like, we want to put a solid, like, almost like the other day I was telling my son, we were talking, and I go, we want to be like the Power Rangers, right? We all got these dope little, like, you know, we are who we are, but when we all come together, there's no stopping us, right? We take on the world. And so we want to have good partners like you guys. So this is exciting for us, being able to talk to you, and just regular organic conversation, whatever comes out of it. Maybe we'll never go live, never post, but just being able to engage with people like this, and pick each other's brains, and
Yep.
talk about things we can do or expect. I mean, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's one of the things too, where like, I think you can tell in real life scenarios, like by us talking right now, or, when we were on the phone last week, or even when we originally met, like, I like those guys, they're like the right kind of communicators, like, Jay, when you're or sorry, Roy, when you're talking about, like aggressively asking somebody a question, or asking, hey, can you do this address? It wasn't aggressive in my mind. You just wanted to get your point across. Like, dude, I got this address. Either you can do it or you can't. Don't waste my time because I don't have that to give. Like,
Right.
what can you do? And to be able to turn around and be like, yeah, or let me get back to you, because nobody wants to hear that. But like, it's cool to be able to work with people that have the same kind of mindset. Like, we can sit and chop it up for as long as you want. We can also talk about business stuff, and it's like, hey, dude, I need this. Can you do it? I'm going to send you an email quick. Get back to me as soon as you can. All right, cool. And know that I'll get back to you, or somebody from my team will, or whatever, and your customers want that too. So to be on that same kind of plane is good. Like, that's what we want. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, that's what I want. Like, I don't want to work with people I don't like. I mean, I
Right.
will,
Oh,
but
That's one of
I'd
our secret.
we won't.
Yeah,
We won't.
yeah.
We we don't. We don't. We turn. We have a link. We will, I guess, but they have to pay for it. And we learned this from Dimitri. Like, we do our inspection. The majority of the estimates that we do, they start with an inspection, and we charge $249 to go out. We do you do free estimates? We don't. Someone called me the other day. I was in the neighborhood with a roof. We sold, and they called me, and they asked, "Do you do free estimates?" I said, "We do not." And then they go, "Oh, well, I had a bunch of roofers come out, and they all did free estimates." I go, "Okay, why are you calling me? You got a bunch of free estimates already. You can have Chat GBT give you even more estimates." I mean, what? I'm just not interested. We don't do it. I can send you a link, and I can do an inspection for you. Send me the address. I'll send you an estimate. I don't need to go out there. No, I want you to come and look at the problem. I'm not going to do it. They said, well, some people came out, didn't find what we wanted, and some companies were good, and then they found the things, we were impressed by those, and that's how we're going to hire. Like, well, what did you pay those people? What you haven't, right? They impressed you, and this and that. I go, well, just no.
Yeah.
So we'll just not work with somebody, because, like, there's a lot of jobs that are for us that are great not to do. Because we could be stuck with this person for a while.
Yep. I was at an event yesterday, for contractor laws and insurance stuff that was going on at our capital yesterday, and I was talking to a contractor that got a phone call from somebody that didn't didn't like the price that they got quoted, and called, and from the person that came out and did an inspection, and which it might have been for free. I actually didn't think to ask that, but this lady decided to call into the office and say, hey, I want to work with you, but you got to give me 20% off. And she happened to get the company owner on the phone, and the company owner said, no, I won't give you 20% off. And then the customer decided to antagonize her. She literally hung up on the customer, and the customer called back and started bugging her more. And like, literally, like, to the point where she saw the phone number on the caller ID and just picked it up and hung it up. Like, I don't need to deal with you, because at the end of the day, a customer like that, like, we know this. I mean, like I said, I used to be a contractor. There are those customers that are that can be challenging to work with, I'll try and say this as nice as possible, that you don't need somebody standing over your shoulder, double guessing everything that you're doing, like you're getting paid to do your job. And the people that are good at their jobs and confident are the ones that are going to be able to turn work down and say, you know what, I don't want to work with you because you're not my kind of customer. Because that lady that called in 6 times and then ended up coming back after she called a bunch of other people and saying, okay, now I really want to work with you because nobody else will.
Surprise, surprise.
They're hard to work with and they end up costing you more money anyway. And is that customer and the amount of time that they're taking up of yours, what are they taking away from your personal life, other customers, employees, coworkers, whatever, like sometimes customers, like it might not be worth it. I mean, you gotta kind of think about that. And people like that, well, if you won't give me a free estimate, I don't want to. Oh, okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
And that customer is probably going to call back and say, yeah, I want you to come do my roof.
Yeah.
Or you wouldn't be surprised.
And sometimes it sounds like, as for us, right, we're on the business side versus the customer side. Sometimes you might think like we're talking about it like, no, we're not going to come out there and do it for free, but it's not free, right? So it costs somebody something to do it. And if you told the customer, would you give me this for free if it was costing you money? Because it's going to cost me money to go all the way out to your place. And so we have a very unique situation. Our map here in Seattle could tell you you're 3 miles away, but we like, I know how to get everywhere, but I always have my GPS on because it's not how far it is, it's how much time it's going to take you to get there. So if I get 2 appointments and you want me to drive to go to you to give you a free estimate, you're probably going to just throw in a pile with everybody else that's doing this. It doesn't make sense. Like, because then what you're doing is I'm going to drive an hour and a half to you. Then I'm going to have, at that time, I'm going to drive back. Now it's going to take me 2 hours because now I got to go through Seattle traffic, which is another monster in itself. So you're going to, for those 2 appointments, I'm going to spend 7 hours driving today. Gives me no time to work with my other customers that I already have, handling issues that are actually making us money. So I'm going to spend my money to go. We're going to be unemployed soon. And we're going to be, Rory always talks about that. He's like, we're going to be unemployed. We're working ourselves towards unemployment if we keep doing all this stuff for free. And it's like, we have to have value. So when I come out there and I'm doing a full inspection for 249, I'm just going to show up and just look at your roof and be like, yeah, I'll give you this quote. We're going to get in your attic. We're going to walk the property line. We're going to do all the things. We're going to check your entire thermal envelope. Because we have the technology and ability to do it, we're going to make sure that you're getting the best inspection you're ever going to get. We're not going to charge you for stuff that you're not going to need. We could just throw a blanket estimate at you, but that's not fair to you either. I wouldn't want that if it was free.
Yeah, no. Well, and that's the thing when you do stuff like that for free, I only have this much time I can give you. Now, you pay for my time. I'm going to give you the best. I'm going to give you a whole lot more than anybody else and it's going to be worth that,
Yeah, I'll give you a shingle count. Pay me 249 to come out there. I'll
And
count
it's
the shingles.
non-biased.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no pressure. There's no pressure for me to close the deal. There's no commission breath. Like, I'm okay with you going with anybody else. I'm just here to do my job, clean. That we get ideas. Like, remember Crocodile Dundee? He used to do that thing where you're like, "Oh, we should do that." Like, you want a free estimate? So $15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, so anybody that has like a company vehicle, or the company, has equipment that people have to drive around, I would say pretty much anybody that has a work truck, $50 every time you got to jump in that truck and turn the key for the first time.
Oh
Figure
yeah,
miles, wear and tear, fuel,
easy.
and then put labor on top of it. And so like subcontractors, anybody that's 1099ing, I mean, like the second they walk out to their truck, they're spending money.
Yeah.
Even if you
Yeah,
have equipment that's sitting, even if it's paid for, it's depreciating, it's costing you money. So yeah, I mean, free is my favorite 4-letter word, but nothing in life is truly free. Like somebody's paying for it, So yeah, so a free estimate, especially driving an hour and a half across town, I mean,
My
you either got to
favorite
have
my
really good
favorite four letter
project.
word also starts with an F, but yeah.
this is rated.
Yeah.
I have several favorite 4-letter words.
Oh yeah, those are the good ones. Those are the good ones. And
Is
yeah,
it
so
love?
yeah,
Is it
we just
hell?
we're okay with paying for what's going to give us the best, return. So we tell our customers, because I deal with most of the phone calls, and I'm just like, did you want me to? I mean, I can do whatever you like, but if you want me to do my job in a respectful way, that's going to give you the information you need to make the best decision, whether that's with us or someone else, like it's going to cost you to get that right. And so, um, people just sometimes aren't willing to do it, and it's just how it's known. Like we'll go to places and they'll be like, well, I need to get a bunch of bids, and I'm like, well, what are you looking for as far as that goes? Like, because you can get, like Roy said, we pull up your phone now, I'll get you 5 bids before we're done talking, but what are you looking for? And
Yeah,
so we're giving you more of the personalized experience of like, when you hire the Seattle Roofing Company, like you can go with any roofing company in our area, but they are not the Seattle Roofing Company. Like, this is what we do every day. We wake up figuring out how to be better for our customers, how to be better for our vendors, how to be better for our employees. So I'm not going to put one of my other guys out to go drive 4 hours when I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it. Like it doesn't do anything for us. We could spend those 4 hours bettering our systems, bettering our training, following up with customers that we have, all our reputation management. Time could be spent way better than trying to just go give 100 free bids that might not go anywhere.
yeah,
Like, and then you're
yeah.
gonna throw these out to people that you probably at the end of the day you're gonna find out you didn't want to work with anyways. And we're going through that today with a customer. Like, looking back on it, I'm like, I probably should not have done that one, right? Because now it's costing me time and effort. Like, I went to sleep yesterday trying to figure out like how am I gonna get up early this morning to go problem solve this thing. There is no problem. The customer creates a problem that's not even existent. But this is where I can invest my time, where it would have cost us a couple grand to go and not do that. But I should not have worked with this customer, but it's a learning lesson. I know now what questions to ask for somebody that's in that situation, that not only I will know, but I could train our other people to also look for these things. So I could drive for a free quote for 2 hours, or I could spend those 2 hours putting together a system and a process for our team to get better and not have to deal with that.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
And those customers that love you and that everything went good and they were a good customer, they're also going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their family, they're going to tell their neighbor, and the people around the job also see it.
Yeah.
So you might get 10 neighbors. I mean, the company I used to work for, first thing I did after a storm was call up the people that I'd already, that had already been my customers. Like, hey, you just got hit, want me to come out? Yeah, it'd be
Mhm.
great. And
And be like,
I'm
and
gonna
my
come to
neighbor
your
too.
neighbors
You might
too.
want to talk to
Yep.
my neighbor. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, you
awesome.
in the street, no power. How many of your neighbors are there? I'll be there in 20 minutes. Like, but yeah, I mean, like, I think referral business is the best kind of business to get.
Yeah.
You know,
Show up and it seems like you're giving out free turkeys on Thanksgiving. Everybody wants to see you.
yep, exactly. Well, I mean, and honestly, that was part of the reason like we developed G Square. 20, 30 seconds, you can get an accurate roof measurement. Puts it
Yeah.
puts you in the ballpark because
Yeah.
of that time thing. Because our time is so valuable, and especially when you're out in the field. Like when you got paperwork to do, bills to get out, paychecks to write, whatever,
Ugh.
and you're stuck out there maybe doing a free estimate or just chopping it up with somebody that you're doing it just because you're there. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I could have been doing something else, and I got some, like I gotta go. I gotta sorry, but you have to do that. So, but I mean, we all know our time is valuable. So,
Yeah. And we do know now, like everything we do is so instant, so limited time. You got, TikToks, everything's, if you do a video, it's like there's algorithms that are like, if your video is 31 seconds versus 28 seconds, the 28-second one's going to do better. It's like just figuring out that everything's so instant. You can get on
yeah,
your phone, like Rory said, and anything you want is at your disposal. I'm a little bit old, so according to my daughter, I was born in the 1900s, but like we
me too.
yeah. And so I would have never done this. I was thinking about it the other day. How do we used to get around without cell phones and GPS? Like, you just knew how to get places.
Hudson
Weird.
map book,
Yeah,
that big
exactly.
spiral
Oh
thing that
yeah.
costs $39 every
Whip out
year.
the big map and
Thomas.
yeah,
Oh,
The
yep,
Thomas Street Guide, yeah. And
yep,
it's like it's crazy, but
Thomas
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
Thomas Guide, yeah. I remember my dad, I used to work with him doing flooring. I was always in the
Just
passenger
stop and
seat with
buy
the
a
book.
map. Remember that?
Yeah, I used to follow on the book, tell him which way to go. Make a left here, make a left here. Damn it! Now look at the map. You got to go the other way, and like we don't do that anymore. But yeah, just talking about like how instant things are. We're in our new we got with our CRM. They have a version where only our salespeople are using to just go in and have everything at their disposal right then. If you're sitting in their living room, give them all the information they need.
yep,
Like what are you doing? Why are you searching for all this information? You could have done all this before I even got here. But here's what we offer. And so having those systems in place that can make us the most efficient, we're already the hardest working. Now we're working hard to put systems together, do all this work for us. Because it'd be cool if we could just do this all day and
Yeah.
have it
Oh,
set and
hell
doing
yeah.
work for us in the background. That's what we're
Yep.
trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to be sitting on a boat on the river.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could change the back of my screen to that, but I mean, that doesn't do me any good. It's not real.
Van down by the river.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I used to have a work van. Got a
Anyway,
truck now.
let's sign off.
Yeah.
I did live in a van down by the river. Actually, I lived at several places in that van. It was a '75 Chevy short box with a 3 on a tree, no power steering too.
The good
Yeah.
stuff.
But
That's, you know what that
anyway,
is? That's
let's sign off.
Yeah.
What was
I
that?
thought this is the last time we talked. It was awesome talking to him
Are
and
you, well,
just
are you going to be at Are you going to be at Win the Storm?
I don't know about Win the Storm. Yeah, we'll be at IRE for sure. I think we're going to be there. I haven't followed up because that's a ways off yet. It's
Yeah,
usually
August
Adam, you're going. Book your flight.
yeah, there you
in
go.
Dallas in August. I wonder what that's going to be like. I haven't been there
Hot,
in August. Oh,
hot.
heard
I
the
mean,
stories.
oh yeah, that could be. No, I was gonna say when you mentioned the 3 on the tree, you know what that is? That's anti-theft. Best one ever.
Yeah. 100%.
Nobody's gonna get that thing running or even know how to move it.
I got a '49 Apache. It sits on it's on bags. So and that frame we just sit it on the ground. It sits on the ground,
Yeah.
and then it's got toggles. We got to air up the main tank, and then you pump up the airbags, and you got to know what you're doing, almost like the first Top Gun. And they can't, and it's a stick shift with a lime lock. You remember those lime locks? Where you hit your brake and then you hit the button on the thing and it'll hold the front
Oh yeah.
brakes when you left, and then
That's a
take
smoke show.
off.
That's the easy
Yeah,
show button, so you don't have to
yeah.
hold the brakes. Yep.
There's several anti-theft devices in that 49 Ford or 49 Chevy.
Yep.
So cool. Well, I look forward to seeing you soon and
Yeah.
connecting.
Yeah.
I really hope you be at Win the Storm. I think it's going to be big. But Josie's doing a big thing with the charity that we were a part of last year.
Actually, somebody asked me about it the other day internally, so I know I'll have a follow up on it next week. So I'll know by then. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you there, and we'll have to talk some more.
Yeah, for sure.
Feel free, you guys. Any questions? Feel free to reach out. Anything you need. Anybody watching this, GeoSpan.com, 1-800-GeoSpan.
Yeah.
Feel free. 35 years.
Hey,
And counting.
you guys got to reach out to GeoSpan. Treat yourself, don't cheat yourself.
Yeah. You know what? Call your CRM up. Tell them that you want to work with us.
Oh yeah, that we've been telling them. Ours is they've taken our word for it.
Yep. Anybody that's interested, if it's something that we don't have going, yeah, reach out. Let your provider know or reach out to us. We'd love to get the feedback and get that, get the wheels moving on those. So,
Cool.
So yeah.
All right.
Thanks, fellas.
Gentlemen. Thank you.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, same. All right, bye.